Alrighty, this is the video review for the Planet X Genesis, which I hadn't originally intended on getting, and then I heard some good reviews. It looked cool. I finally decided to cave and get it, and wow. I mean, like, one, you notice I don't have my usual white background. I'm actually having to stand up here to do this, because my usual white background comes up to about here on this box. It is a giant, massive box. Just for scale, here's Hercules with this box. It's a big box. It is, however, a very cool box. It's got some magnetic closures here on it, on each door, that let you open it up. It makes a pretty nice showcase, if you choose to do so. It's got pictures of front of robot in alt mode over here, back of robot in alt mode over here on the sides. Let's see if I can get those shown off. He comes in a big plastic tray. Yeah, you see those on the side. Big plastic tray. There's a little baggie of screw covers in there, which I have not applied yet. I will probably do so later tonight. He does not come with the Autobot symbol. That's a repro label I stuck on it, just so you know. But yeah, give me a second. We'll get this bad boy out of the box, and we will start. Also, just to show his instruction sheet is more like an instruction mat. It's like this giant two-sided instruction sheet. And one of the things that's tricky about it, just so you know right off the bat, it goes like this. Or, like, oh, this right here is just steps to get him from full robot mode from packing, because he's got some stuff folded away in package mode, and we'll show that off. How to get him to main robot mode. But the transformations go like that, and then over, down. So if you go left to right and then try to come back here and start, you'll get out of order. So you do kind of zigzag down the line. And then this bottom row right here is just where to put the screw covers. So yeah. Oh, he also comes with this. So we'll get him out of the box. We'll get, this is a little bio card. We'll get him out of the box, and we'll start the review proper. But something like this, normally I don't review packaging, but this is a really nice showcase box for this figure, and I wanted to show it off. And there's some artwork on the back. That's the same artwork from the bio card. But yeah, really, really nice. If you saw my Twitter earlier, you saw the little display I did with the Captured Prey tote bag I got and stuff. You could display this in the box and have it look awesome on your shelf, and I think that's worth showing off. You can see the magnets here in the corner of the flaps as well. So yeah, give me a second, get him out, and we'll get to the main review here. Alrighty, so here we go. Here he is, fresh out of the package. This is pretty much how he comes. His arm, I bent his arms just a little bit to distribute his weight so he'd stand a little better. And he actually is pretty solid once you get him standing, but you do have to, balance him because he has these giant, massive arms, as you can see. To get him ready right out of the package, the main thing you want to do is on his back here, his treads. They can stay folded up like this, and I'm cool with this. But you open up these panels here. There's a setup up top and a set on the bottom. They lock together. Sometimes it's easier on the bottom to just pop this up like that, and those will automatically pop open. But lift these all the way up until they snap into place, and then close these back. And again, since they interlock, you want to make sure you can't just fold one closed and then the other. You got to kind of get them lined up before they close all the way shut. And same over here. Open up the panels, and just kind of use that to pop it open. We'll do that in a minute. Oh, come here, you came loose. We'll get to that in a minute. Close these tabs, and close them like that. Once that's done, you take these and just twist them around, and that brings them down at an angle. And that gives him his traditional looking treads up here. Now his head also is tucked in with his turret tucked down back into his neck. I don't know if you can see that right there. But you can lift his head up. If you want to give him the turret on the back of his head, the traditional look, you can. And lifting his head up just a little bit now allows him to turn his head back and forth and look around. Up to you how you want to do it. I like to lift it up a little bit and lift the turret up, just because it gives him a little bit more of the iconic Omega Supreme look to have that turret on the back of his head. Plus it lets him turn his head. So one of the first features, that's him. He's giant. He's massive. Let's do some quick size comparisons. Here he is with Fall of Cybertron Optimus. That's not insignificant. and would follow Cybertron Starscream. Just to give you a glimpse of what he looks like with characters from the universe he's supposed to be from. For masterpiece scale, since I had him to show off the hands, and he's about the same height as MP10, just to get an idea of how much bigger he is. There he is with Quakewave. Since we showed him off, obviously, in the opening credits, one of his main kind of archenemy rivals, there he is, Hercules. He's a little bit taller at the head. And again, I mean, part of it is the angle the camera's at. The camera's kind of looking up a little bit. The head, Omega Supreme's head, or Genesis' head, if you bring it straight over, you can see is a little bit taller than Hercules. And even though this is looking about the same height as his treads up here, again, the treads up here, if you brought him straight forward, he's sitting about that much higher than Hercules. So there's that. And personally, I think he looks better with Giant. I like that scale a little better, because even though Devastator's also pretty massive and huge, I do think Omega Supreme, just by his nature, should be a little bigger than Devastator. And aesthetically, I think they look a little better together, because Hercules looks great with going up against their Uranus. It's the same design scheme. I think these two mesh a little better. I like the look. I had Hercules and Uranus on my third-party shelf as my big guys facing off, and with all the little guys facing off. I think these two have just replaced them. I think they're going to, Hercules and Uranus are going to go onto what's kind of becoming my third-party combiner shelf in the computer room, and these guys are going to go on the dresser as part of the big third-party face-off together. But yeah, just to get a quick size comparison there. So yeah, big Mamma Jamma. Like I said, that's a repro label I stuck on there. It's just a little rotating panel. And it rotates for a reason, because you also get... Originally, they were going to only include these with the first wave of this guy. But these are little light-up LEDs. And before we stick them in, something I forgot to show off. On both the front and back of his waist here, there's these little flat panels, are a little ball joint. They rotate around, and now you've got you can rotate however you want. It's just a kind of a half ball sitting in there. Rotates around, and you've got these little rotating turrets here. There's one here, one up here on each. You just got to make sure when you put them away, you got to line them up so that the guns come out easily. Come on, you. There we go. So you got 4 on the front, and then 2 here on the back of the waist. Oh, that one came out, see? It's just a little ball joint. Didn't snap in all the way. And then 2 here up on the scaffolding up on the back. There we go. So you got, and they're fully ball jointed rotating turrets. So it snapped in all the way. We'll fix that later. Oops. So yeah, you'll have to fold those in for transformation back to his alt modes, but they are there. And like I said, it's just really cool. It just flips out. It's flat. Oh, that one popped out too. So they are, like I said, they are half balls, so they are capable of popping out of the joint. But yeah, they just rotate around. I just think that's really cool. His claw hand has a counter rotation gimmick, which some people have said is faulty, and it's not. It's just as you rotate this, there's a certain catch point. So I can get it to catch here. There we go. It catches at a certain point and rotates. And as long as you keep rotating it without rotating it too fast, it'll stay caught. If you rotate too fast, you can spin it and it'll rotate. It'll keep spinning after you finish rotating the disc. And it basically has a catch point, and then if you as you rotate it, if you rotate too fast, it'll skip forward like that, because it can move freely as well. And then you have to rotate this again to find the catch point again. So it's not actually broken, it's just the way the catch point works in there. And it's a little easier. The more elevated you have it, the easier it is to get it to catch. I may open it up and look inside to see how that mechanism works, but once I figured out how it works, it's just a neat little once I figured out that it's not supposed to be like a constantly attached gear, it was less concerning to me. But yeah, giant claws. Claws are posable here, here, and up here, so you've got a lot of movement in them. I like to leave them in hand mode, collapsed up like that. But again, entirely up to you how you want to do it. His panels on his gun arm over here open up. Make it look like he's firing if you so wish. He's got quite a good range of ratchet. You gotta make sure you're moving his legs. He definitely requires his legs to be transformed to support him, but you can get some good solid balance poses even with these giant arms up in the air, which is nice. And here's that pose from the side. This is really, really cool. Now, he's got 5 points on his body, in his chest, behind this gun, in his claw, and on each ankle where these LED pieces that I mentioned earlier come out. And you just take them out, pop them open. And these are little push-button activated gimmicks. There's a little, this little button on top. If you push it in, you can see lights up the LED. Just like that. Now, to open up his chest, you flip this Autobot symbol over, this little plate over, and then you just pry the panel up. There we go. And there's little spring-loaded indents, both here, inside the middle of this claw. You have to, again, let's get him stable here. You have to pop the middle of this gun off. Yeah, there we go. Here's the spring-loaded here, and then one in each ankle over here. And we'll put them in just to show you. You want to put them in with this spring button facing inward. That activates them. You push it in like this. There's a little slot, and then turn it so it stays in place. There's 2 little grooves on the top and bottom, and then when you rotate it, it locks it in. And because of the spring loaded on the back, it lights up that LED. Real quick, how it works lesson. So yeah. So there's his chest lighting up. And one of the things I'll show you on the claw here that if you want to do, a lot of people were complaining that you have to have them on in the body. Very ratchety. Come on. Come on. Like I said, very solid once you get him in a pose, but you don't balance him right. Very ratchet. Come on. Come on, buddy, work with me here. There we go. There we go. Nope. Okay. My daughter is here with me at work tonight, so you might hear random niblet noises in the background. Like that. But basically, I'll hold them up here. You can put them in like this where it automatically lights up. Twist it in. You can, if you're willing, you have to push a little further in, but you can put them so the button is facing out. You can slide them in, rotate it in so it stays, and you can store them in there where they're not on, and then use them as little like push button light up things. Entirely up to you. So yeah, that's pretty much how those work. I'll get them all in here in just a second. All right, so I guess we're saying you just put these in. We'll go ahead and put them on so they're on during this transformation, just to show you how they light up everything. Go ahead and push this one in. This one's the hardest to get to lock, even when you do it right. For some reason, there we go. I'll push this back on here, which is going to throw off his weight again, and we're going to have to... Oh! It's falling over, isn't it?
That's silly toy.
Of course, like all day I've been trying all the... There we go. I've been putting them in all kinds of crazy poses. Stable, stable, stable. Gotta shoot the video review. No, let's fall over everywhere. And then, so those 3, and then 1 in each ankle. Right down here. So that, and then like that, which is really, really cool. I especially love the chest light because just the way it glows through the vents, I think looks really, really cool. So yeah, there he is, all lit up, ready to kick some booty. Yeah, I said booty. The mind of a 6-year-old. Everything is funny. Poops and farts. So yeah. So on to transformation, which is not intuitive. Let's put it that way. It's not bad. It really isn't. Like, once you figure out where everything goes, it really isn't that bad. The first time through it, you're like, is this supposed to move like this? And there's a couple tiny spots where the instructions are a little vague on what piece is exactly supposed to move. One of the things I'll get to before we even start transforming it is the arms pop off. They unhook right here. And while you can totally transform him without any parts forming, with the exception of pulling off this weapon to form the two, splitting this to form the two side weapons. I find you're going to have a much easier time of it if you go ahead and pop the arms off, right here at the elbow. You can see there's a clip right here. They just clip right off. Now that the balance is off again, there we go. Now the arms they're not trying to compensate for his massive arms. He wants to do all this crazy stuff. Yes, I know. He's so silly.
It's trying to fall down everywhere.
There we go. But these whole halves split off and come down, and they're identical. Even though there's only over here, there's a little peg that pops out on the back of the arm on both sides. You only use it on whatever side this is attached to. But as you rotate it around, as you transform it doesn't matter which way you bring the arms around. If you take the arms off, these two sides are identical in reverse. So like if I took this, rotated around at the waist, and snapped them back up, it would work just as fine as a robot, which is really, really cool. The fact that you don't have to have the added confusion of which side is which if you do take these off. And like I said, I do recommend popping the arms off. Now they can, and this will feature more prominently later on tonight in the video, but you can take these, and using their helps if you straighten this beforehand, because those are some pretty solid ratchets in the elbows. Again, like I said, you just snap these on either arm. But you can take these two arms, snap them together like this to form that one.
It's time to break everywhere. Yay!
It's not going to break everywhere. There we go. To form a rocket. Big. I mean, this is look at that. Look at that in my hand. That is a big, it's bigger than a Nerf football. You could load that into an actual mortar and launch it. Rocket. This is glowy butt. That's not how we're going to use it for this mode, but like I said, we'll show off some stuff here later on that might have you so excited, where you just can't hide it. But yeah. So we'll go ahead and snap those apart again, set those off to the side. The main body of the robot, so we start off with, go ahead and fold in all the turrets. And even the ones up here. Once those are all folded in, you want to refold these the scaffolding, trellises, whatever you want to call them up here. I pinched myself on that. Back into there. Yeah, come here. What is so funny? I got a giggler over here. So yeah, transform them around. And then once that's done, you want to lift these gold panels up here on his top up. Pull these out. Unpeg these peg onto the back, unpeg these, bring them up to the side. That'll let you open up this panel behind his head. Yeah, if we can get to it. There we go, open this panel up. You take his head, you fold it all the way down into his body here. Just like that. And then close that up. Should close up. There we go, all the way down in there, close that back up. And then here's where it gets really fun. You want to take these arms, snap these all the way off. These panels are going to have to rotate around. Fold the gold panels up. They get really floppy when they're not pegged in. But fold the gold panels up, plug them into the arms there. I'm going to bring them up to the side. Rotate this. Again, since these are identical, it doesn't really matter which way you rotate it. Bring this crotch panel down. Rotate this around like this. If you rotate it the other way, you'd end up just the same. The only difference is if you have, this is the way you want to rotate it if you have the rocket arm, you have the arms, you want to bring the top of it forward and the claw arm to the back. But other than that, if you have them off, it doesn't make a difference. You bring this up, you rotate this upside down like this. Now it should clip on right here, and it will when you get to its final transformation point. Right now it's a little loose just because you're not ready for prime time here yet. But it does have some snaps down here that don't really hold it in place right now. They will when you get to the proper point. I'll try to get it snapped on. There we go. There it is, snapped into place, but you can see it, the way it slides up and down. It's kind of loose right now. That's okay. It's nothing to worry about. These you rotate around and up. We're just going to leave them up. You just want to get them out of the way up here. This comes up. Rotates this around. Like that. Yeah. I'm going to bring this up. Wait, does this one go up? I can't remember which way this one goes. Well, we've got the instructions, so we will consult them. Reset. Okay, and that one comes down. You got to rotate the pieces around, rotate the pieces around. Right. What's a cubit? Alright, yeah, basically you want to do this so this comes all the way up, and then even this comes all the way up to bring... You basically, if you have the claw on, you want it to come up here. See, this is one of the screw covers on the chest that likes to pop off. Easy to pop right back in, just like all the other screw covers. And we'll pop that back in when we're done. But it's basically one of these concealment panels right here. They pop off. It's okay. We'll snap that back on later. Here's where it's actually a little helpful to have the claw attached, so you can figure out what you're doing. So snap it back together. Because you want this to come up like this. Oh, well. You want it to come up. Like I said, there's some really tight ratchets. You want to bring these side panels off this rope. These side panels up. Yeah, this comes up like this. But you basically want it to just sit right where his head used to be. Bring that up. And essentially what you're going to do is, this comes up here. There's a P. All right, this comes up here. You said this should have snapped on up here. But basically this hook right here can come up. Get this in right. Yeah, you collapse the hand down, and this little tab right here hooks into here, and that holds. Like I said, now it's okay if this isn't lock together because now it's locked back here. These pieces stay down here. I think you're supposed to. Oh yeah, there's two little gray pieces on the inside here, on the inside of this tread. Make sure they're on screen here. There's a little gray piece here on the side of this tread that you flip around because there's a little triangular piece right here that it fits into. So you rotate that over, and it should lock into place. So the angled side's on the bottom, and it should snap right into that. It didn't snap, but it should fit right there into that gold piece. And just make sure, this is one of the things that can catch you up when you're going back to robot. Just make sure when you're going back to robot, you flip these back into the right angle. This one was actually already correct. So yeah. So here we are. We're getting there. This piece rotates around like this. Now, because this is going to be the Serenity cockpit up here. So yeah, it's coming. You can kind of see the base of the ship coming together. The rear back here. Again, you can do whatever you want with these. Now we go on to the legs. And the legs you split. First off, these little silver kind of T pieces. You want to lift up, move to one side. Same on the rear. Lift up, move to one side. And then you split right along this piece. Just like that. Bring the legs off to the side. Bring them out like this. Rotate them around. Again, you can see the glowy ankle pieces there. These come up. You'll see there's a tab right here that tabs into the slot, and then two clips that snap over these tabs on each side. Also, there's a couple of tabs here on these gray supports that plug in when we get everything lined up right. They're going to plug into the leg here. Actually, it may help to go ahead and rotate that around. Snap this in to the side of the body here, and this takes a little bit of force. So this will scare you the first time you do it. Snap that in. We're going to bring this. How did I get that? All right. Rotate this around like, well, no. This does snap in there. Hold on, we'll figure it out. Back to the instruction sheet. I thought I had this down, and Kira, stop making yourself dizzy.
Why?
Okay, well, you know what we should have done? We should have transformed the legs before we got to actually snapping it back here. So, snap that. You do bring the leg. This is all right. You do bring the legs over here to the side, just like that. Then we rotate them here at the knee. So, so the foot's facing backwards. The toes are pointing toward the back of the vehicle. Bring them down to the knee, all the way down. You may have to hold the knee up like this to get that last click, just like that. Bring them forward. Bring the toes all the way forward like this. And then rotate them all the way back. All right, okay, it plugs into the foot here, I guess. No? How did I?
Daddy, you're silly.
Yeah, I know, I'm silly. Oh, right, I forgot. You have to turn the whole waist in. There we go. Now clip this back in just like this. Let's say I knew what I was doing. And then these pegs under here will peg into the thrusters there on the foot. I knew those ended up there. I just snap this in again. Thrusters into the foot. And here you can see now where the main body of the ship is coming from. Let's crush panel down. Now, if you had this attached the whole time, I'm going to rotate this so the elbows in the front here lift it up like this. And you bring this, again, there's another one of those chest panel pieces that likes to pop off. Also, under here, I mentioned that before that there was a, if I clip this on backwards, you want to make sure that peg I told you about is on the bottom. Flip that out. And then, there we go. That peg's going to come down and peg in right here. This is going to stay up. So yeah, when you bring that down like this, that peg pegs in right here. This should stay clipped together back here. Now you see where we're coming. Now, there we go. Now it's coming all together. Just like that. These pieces right here fold flat. And then all we do from here is the simple part. We're pretty much done here. You pull, as mentioned before, pull the extra gun part out. There's the front of the ship. And all you do with this is you split it in half. There's a little piece right here that you rotate out and around like that. And then you plug it right in here to the hole in the foot on either side. Or you want to bring this forward so it's not in the way. Plug it into the side. Same over here. And now, finally, dun, da, 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 you have Genesis in his vehicle mode, which is a very hefty, large vehicle mode. I mean, like I said, the guy's just massive, and he looks awesome. He looks vaguely like the Serenity. If you unhooked his arm, I think, and just had this, he'd look very much like the Serenity, which is really kind of cool. Again, for a Firefly geek like me, it's cool. You still got the same, especially with the rotating engine here on the back. But there he is in his vehicle mode. which is more or less accurate to, like I said, it's not exact. In the game, I think his glowing chest panel actually formed this section right behind the front of the ship. But yeah, he's really massive, really cool. There he is. There is, as I mentioned earlier, though, one extra little mode, which is not on the instructions. People have figured this out. So again, you unhook the arm from up here. Like I said, here's what I was talking about that would make him look very cylindrish, although maybe too squat in the front. But yeah, take the arm pieces off. Get back here. Snap it. All right. Here we want to. Again, if you have trouble moving these ratchets on their own, and these are some pretty serious ratchets in the elbows, especially that last notch, you can just clip it back onto either one of the arm pieces and use it to click at that last notch. But we'll go ahead and reassemble the rocket that I showed you earlier. Open this up. Okay, I guess we can bring these down. So bring those all down to form the right cone. Extend this down. Flip this part up. Do you want to extend the, make sure the arm pieces extend all the way up? I think it is, actually. Yeah, like that. Bring these out like that. And snap two halves of the rocket together. There we go. Easier to snap it together like that than whatever. And there's the rocket. Set that off to the side for a moment. And then this piece, let's see if I remember. I've got a picture on my phone, of course, of how the rocket base comes together. But it's pretty much. I was pretty much just like take this, set it up, rotate the foot around this way. Well, actually, I'm going to leave it up like this. Just rotate this part of the foot around so it sits squat. Like that. You want to rotate all this around like this. Leave everything locked together back here. Plug this in. Like I said, yeah. So really, just from ship mode, unplug everything, and then just rotate this around down like this. Fold this gantry up underneath here, just in ship mode, and it's pretty much just that. Stand them up like that. Get all this. You can make this stand up. Again, you can rotate the ratchets a little bit to make him a little bit more straight up and downy. I've seen various different ones that make it a little taller. You can make the rocket a little taller. This is my favorite of the modes, though. It's squat. It's really easy to get to from ship mode. Bring these up to form the gantries. And again, you can deploy the turrets here if you wish. I guess we are going to have to transform them real quick to get to a piece, but that's okay. Put these up. Snap that up. Close these back up. Almost done here. I know this has been a long video, and I apologize. Up here in the upper body, open this up. Open this up. You can open up these panels again and pop out the head. Up. There's his gantry mode. You can again, you can make it, put the rocket in there like it's ready to launch. And then his head, as you can see, bring it down, rotate his head around, flip it back up. Forms a little tank to guard the base, and it looks like a very G1-esque Omega Supreme. Very, very cool. The tank head, people have said they can kind of flip these out, pretend they're wings, flip this around with the turrets in the back and make it like a little jet, a little bomber jet if you want. I guess maybe that's what it's for. There is some clear here to look like a cockpit. It could look like even fold that forward, look like a little fighter jet bomber. I don't know. It's just something I've seen and I don't necessarily disagree with. But I like the little hideaway, pull out his head and becomes a tank. Apparently they're making a face for this. I don't think we've seen like some digitized photos of it, but nothing. We haven't seen any clear photos of it, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's my final thoughts on this are like if you can get it, get it. I know Fort Max is out now, and I know there's a lot of demand for that, and G1 Fort Max, and I don't blame people for that. The chance to own a vintage Fort Max at a great price is phenomenal. But honestly, if I had a choice between Fort Max and this guy, I would go this guy hands down without question. I've played with both. I think this guy's really solid and awesome and fun. And Fort Max is awesome, and he's huge, and I totally get the nostalgia factor. But he's a little bit of a brick. And this guy's got a lot of playability. He looks really good on the shelf. He's just got more shelf presence. Fort Max has more shelf bulk, I guess. But this guy's just got a lot more character, I think, than Fort Max. That's not to admonish anybody who's getting Fort Max. Believe me, I totally know the appeal of Fort Max, and I don't blame anybody who does choose Fort Max over this. I'm just saying this is just as worth the money for the same price. I kind of poo-pooed this whole project from the minute it started, thinking, it'll be all right, whatever. I don't really care. I mean, his legs are too skinny. Having him in hand, just wow. All the things that could have gone wrong with this project, and they all went so very right. As I said on Twitter, it's a really, really nice display piece. And all three modes look great in person. Like I'm honestly considering not even putting him in robot mode, but putting him on the shelf like that. He just looks awesome. He's just in just about every way. He's very, very cool. And if you've been on the fence, I highly recommend taking the plunge because he's so worth it. But yeah, there he is, Planet X Genesis.